Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League again today. Looks like they've got a new playable character coming out, and it's a bit of a doozy, so let's cue up the music and we'll get right into it. First off, let's give you a little background on this game. It came out back in February 2nd, 2024, just a couple months ago. And for the PS5, it is sitting at a big, fat, mediocre 60 based on Metacritic reviews, which is probably pretty high for this game. Critics tend to give games that are, and I'll just go right out and call it woke. I know that pisses you little weasels off out there. He called it woke! Go get a life! Yeah, go to hell, you freaking jerk-offs. Anyways, yeah, it's pretty bad. DEI has destroyed this game, and it looks like it's only getting worse. I think probably the user score of 3.5 is a lot more accurate, and that's absolutely abysmal. So I feel bad if you spent money on this game. I thought, when I first saw the original trailer that came out, I know that was received poorly. And I remember looking at it going, yeah, I have zero interest in this game. Not that it looked woke or anything like that. It just looked like another throwaway four-person looter-shooter game, only this time with the Warner Brothers DC brand on it, So I was like, yeah, we're going to pass on that one. But I wasn't the only one, apparently, because this game, when it came out, February 2nd, it did peak at a whopping 13,459 players at the same time, and then you could see immediately afterward it dropped. Here we are, just 7 days later, a week later, it's down to under 1,000. Or no, I'm sorry, 5,000. It's just under 5,000, so more than halfway dropped off. Oh, it got worse and worse. Let's see, here we go. A month later, it's at 700 players. That's pathetic. That is pathetic. Now, they did release a Joker DLC at some point, add a new player character that bumped it back up to 3,042 on the 20th of March. This is only Steam, of course. This doesn't account for PlayStation or anything else, but, this just shows you. It did help give it a boost, but, yeah, not much of one. And it doesn't matter what platform this game's going to be on. All of these trends are going to look similar, It's not that, PC players are going to not like this game, but Xbox players are going to love it or anything like that. Functionally, it's the same game. So you're going to see a trend like this on all platforms. It's going to be pretty bad. So, but they got a new character coming out, boy, and this one's a doozy. An alleged first look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's Mrs. Freeze, accused of promoting transgenderism. There's Mrs. Freeze. Yeah, just take a moment. Drink in that beauty, right? So, I loved Batman as a kid and all that, and I knew Mr. Freeze growing up and all. I don't know if since the time I read Batman, if Mrs. Freeze was ever a reality. Knowing the way comics have gone, probably. They probably had an alternate universe or something like that. Maybe I always thought his wife was dead. Mrs. Freeze's wife was dead. But, comics are comics. They bring people back from the dead. They swap things out. They do all kinds of stuff to help promote sales. When sales are down, they try all these weird gimmicks and goofy things and all that. And sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. It might get a little bit of renewed interest for a little while, but then it takes a crap once again. But, yeah. This is Mrs. Freeze. And let me tell you, there's really nothing Mrs. about it. Ex-user Manga Lawyer reacted to the first look, writing on X, Rocksteady, the developers of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, transformed Mr. Freeze into a non-binary Karen, they, them. This is wild. And he's not wrong, man. Look at a Karen haircut there. This is pathetic, okay? Look at the build of this character, okay? Beefed up and chubbed up. No chest whatsoever. No feminine quality to the chest. That could be a dude's chest. I mean, even the face there, he looks like he could be just some weird, I don't know, surfer, whatever, goofball. This could be a guy. This could be a guy. It is very non-binary in how it looks, and I wouldn't be surprised if it used they them pronouns inside the game. This game's been a complete and utter failure, and I do believe that Mrs. Freeze is not going to cause much of a bump in concurrent players, but we'll have to see. Um, but yeah, this is gaming these days. This is Western gaming, and it's sad. In a subsequent post, the user added, I predicted this before the game's released, and the backlash was intense. They perceive femininity and female anatomy as threats to society. Now they've made a character transgender. Take note of Mrs. Freeze's chest. That's not a woman. Absolutely right. That's not a woman. Here's another post. I will say it again and again. Western developers hate women. It's not nerfing what happens to Harley. It's literally a mastectomy. These people hate anything remote to attractiveness, and you will find people like her, former design in Latin America, just walking around down the block. Let's take a closer look at this. Harley. Nice rack. Nice rack. Here, nothing. Yeah, it's a mastectomy. It really is. That's how pathetic it is that they want to please that trans community. And I don't understand it because it's such a small group of people, right? Such a small group of people. And like everything else in life, like I'm the guy that didn't care. I didn't give a shit. You know, you let me play a game, I enjoyed it. If I enjoyed the game, I enjoyed the game. If you put some weird little things in there, half the time I wouldn't notice it back in the day. But as things have progressed in movies and television and in gaming, it's gotten to a point where you can't ignore it. You know, and it just gets more and more annoying. And it's gotten to a point where you got to fight it. You got to push back against it, because if you don't, they're just going to destroy our culture, and they're already working on it very hard. You know, they destroyed family. They destroyed church. They destroyed schools. Now they're trying to destroy culture through our, music, movies, video games, all that kind of stuff. And you can't allow it to happen. You got to fight back against it. So if you don't like this stuff, fight back against it. Share these kind of videos. If it's not mine, share somebody else's. Share articles from like that park place and stuff like that. Subscribe to these things and keep up on it and notice it. And don't spend your money with people that hate you, right? Because these people don't like you. You know, I'm a straight white male in my 50s. I am the devil to these developers and all that. I'm the devil to them. And if they're going to sit there and crap all over me, say, well, this game's not meant for you. You're a straight white male, blah, blah, blah. You're not getting my straight white male money then. You can fuck off, right? Let your little tranny community support you. Sell 50 copies of the game, or whatever. But, I'm walking away. Anyway, with the recent release of Season 1, Episode 2 update, players spotted a tease for Mrs. Freeze. Ex-user Arkham Video showed a portion of the map that is frozen over and a sign that reads, Ho Ho, Frozen Chicken Bites. I'm just showing you, I guess, in this video here. Freeze had previously been hinted at when Reddit user Serenity Plays shared a video of Brainiac referring to his Harley Quinn player as Freeze. In reaction to his video, like it, Miller Ross claims it's a tease for a character named Victoria Freeze. He wrote, saw this making the rounds today. Yeah, it seems some of Brainiac's incidental combat banner featuring Victoria got missorted and given to Harley by accident. Oops. And I can see how that would happen. Maybe, I don't know. Well, Harley was the only female character up until that point, so yeah, maybe they had it based on gender, or would it be gender in this case? I don't know. Whatever. It's quite likely that Mangalore's accusation is correct. Back in 2020, when Naughty Dog was about to release The Last of Us Part 2, an alleged seasoned artist informed Sausage Roll that video game developers were making female characters look like men to placate adherence to transgender ideology. The artist noted, it's not really about sexual objectification of women. Women like men come in all shapes and sizes. To say that having big busty women is unrealistic is untrue. And that's correct. They're out there. We've all seen them. The insider then added, this is only true for trans people. A trans woman can't naturally grow breasts, large breasts, and not all trans people can afford implants. If you see a game where the women are all a little less curvy, it's not because the game designers are worried about receiving backlash for sexualizing women. It's because they are worried about offending the trans community. Let me repeat that. Offending the trans community. He then revealed, from a design standpoint, that is a really challenging problem. I've had many board meetings about how to tackle this. Trans people want realistic representation in our games, but they feel excluded if they are represented as too masculine or too feminine. That's why you will see a lot of designers nerfing the female form, so to speak, so that the difference between trans women and cis women is a little less noticeable. Yeah, don't use that word, cis, bro. So that's what's going on, right? You don't want trans people to feel like they want representation. They want realistic representation. So we're actually going to take away realistic representation from real women to accommodate them. This is as bad as letting trannies in bathrooms or trannies play sports with female athletes, right? These guys, these men, play sports with female athletes. It shouldn't. This stuff shouldn't be happening. It's utterly insane. These people are mentally ill, and it's sad that we cater to them so much, right? So let's look at a different group of mentally ill people, and would we do the same for them? Let's say we had a bunch of people who were anorexic. Here's a good one, right? That's a form of body dysmorphia, much like transgenderism. And they're not happy in their body, and they always feel like they're fat. So they want to be skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. And they, Karen Carpenter died from this back in the day. And it's a real problem with people. And it's a sad, sad thing. And when somebody is anorexic, we try to help that person. We try to get them to understand that the way they see themselves is not the reality of them, that they need to, and there's therapy for it and there's work for it, and people support them and people try to help them out. Because ultimately, if you don't help that person, they're going to starve to death, or they're going to die by complications from a lack of nutrients in their body, their organs breaking down, something like that. And it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Transgender people often end themselves because of this body dysmorphia, right? Before or after they transform, they get the surgery, whatever, they are still apt to do that. Yet we cater to them and we support them in that, as opposed to trying to help them. Why? Why do we do that? That makes no sense to me. If I had somebody in my family, if my son, my daughter, my sister, my brother came to me and said, I think I'm transgender, let me tell you, man, I wouldn't be like, oh, I support you and everything you do. No, I'd be like, yo, bro, let's get you some help. Let's figure this out. When did this start? I'm no psychologist, but I'm going to find you somebody that can help you out. And we're going to get you through this, and I'll support you 100%. And I'll do everything in my power to help you get through this and help you get better. I am not going to buy in to your mental illness and support you in that, and then wake up one day finding you in the closet blue. That's absolutely ridiculous. On top of these comments, YouTuber Yellow Flash revealed that he heard similar information from his inside sources. He stated, was told that it was done to be ambiguous, to make everybody feel okay and included. They're purposely trying to walk a line here so that they don't offend queer people. That's what I was told. Now take that with a grain of salt. The design for Mrs. Freeze is unlikely to help the game's ailing financial status. Warner Brothers Discovery revealed during its first quarter financial results that they took a $200 million impairment charge on the game. The company's CFO, Gunnar Wiedenfels, stated, starting with studios, the $400 million plus year-over-year decline in quarter one was primarily due to the very tough competition we faced in games against the success of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter. In conjunction with the disappointing Suicide Squad release this past quarter, which we impaired, leading to a $200 million impact to EBITDA during the first quarter. Given the game is a financial loser, it's not surprising that its player base has fallen off a cliff. The game had an all-time concurrent peak of 13,459 when the game released in early February, and that was the day it released. However, by the end of the month, the concurrent peak was less than 600. It was able to bring some players back when it released its first Season 1 update with a playable Joker. Concurrent players hit 3,042 on March 28th, however. Throughout much of April and May, the peak concurrent never got over 300. With the game's most recent update, it did manage to have a peak concurrent barely over 500, but clearly this game is not healthy and players have mostly abandoned it. And it's only a matter of time now before Warner Brothers abandoned it. How long before they shut things down? I don't know what they sold the game on as far as like season passes or anything like that when you bought it. Did you buy something and say, all right, we get a season for like 4 updates? Are they going to be forced to support that? Are they just going to have to cut their losses on it? Are they going to have to refund people? I don't know, but this game's dead in the water. It's not going to make it to 2025. It's not going to last a year. I guarantee you that. And now, while a lot of it can be blamed on DEI and how lame it was and all that, it's also it's a lot bigger than that. It's a 4-player looter shooter and an ecosphere of games that are like it and are much better than it. It's a game that's requiring you to buy battle passes and all that. And there's so many games that are doing this sort of thing right now. It's one of those games that just tries to keep you engaged for as long as possible. And more we get games like that, and it's not every game's going to work like that. In fact, most of them are going to fail. I don't know what the failure rate is in those games, but most of them are going to fail. So that plays a big part in it too. This DEI crap is not going to help it, though. I will guarantee you that. You can argue whatever you want for the failure of the game, bad gameplay and all that, but, everybody wants to inject DEI into games thinking they make things better. Maybe if you didn't pay these consultants and you just put together a big game, your budget would have been smaller. Maybe the characters would have been better. Maybe they would have looked better. Maybe they would have been more enjoyable and people would have liked to play it. And maybe, just maybe, you'd have a game that actually succeeded instead of failed. That's something to think about moving forward for these companies. They've got to realize that DEI doesn't help. It doesn't make anything better. Absolutely nothing. It only makes things worse. It's a cancer in this industry, and it needs to be cut out and burned away. I'm Captain Beefy. If you like this video, please leave a like on it down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.